Hello guys and welcome to Steve Knows. I've done some digging around and I've tried to find all of the games available on the Oculus Quest that have been enhanced for the Oculus Quest 2. So that means things such as a 90Hz refresh rate or increased resolution, better textures, just ways that the game has been improved for the Quest 2 hardware. There's quite a lot of games here, so I'm not going to talk in depth about each and every single one of these games, but if you find something here that you like, you can then go and find other videos on it, or I've probably most likely got these game videos already on my channel if you want something more in depth. I have done some digging around, but there is always the potential that I've missed something, so if I have missed a game, please comment it down below and I'll add it to the description so the community, you guys, are aware of it. So enough chin wagging, let's get started. RecRoom, a free game on the Quest that is community driven, and it means there is so much content to enjoy and people to socialise with in virtual reality. People have created Fall Guys, Among Us, Battle Royales and so much more, but for the Quest 2 there is a big difference and it's not to do with visuals. The Quest 2 has got 2 more game modes than the Quest 1. These are ports from the PC VR version that were unable to be played on the Quest 1, but now the Quest 2 has a performance boost, we get to try it out. The first is Isle of the Lost Skulls, which is pirate themed, and where you and friends can team up and make your way through many levels like an old school beat 'em up, but in virtual reality. And the second is Rec Royale, that was recently released, and of course you can get it from the name, it's a battle royale game that RecRoom have created. Star Shaman, a hidden gem, a game I've been talking a lot about recently, is a roguelike game that has an incredible use of colour and design. It looks beautiful and it's a challenge. You travel across the universe that is procedurally generated to try and save them from the machines, and promote biodiversity across the world. For Quest 2 you can play this game in stunning high resolution and expect a 90Hz refresh rate as well for smoother gameplay. Echo Arena, a free title and a great one that will allow you to compete in online matches with friends or strangers that you may want to mute in game in the sport of futuristic Quidditch or hockey. You have a disc that you have to get into the opponent's goal to score, and the most points wins. It's a simple sports game where teamwork is paramount and brilliant to make new friends. This recently got an update as well to enable 90Hz on the Oculus Quest 2, and for an esports game that is great news, and it may give you a slight edge against Quest 1 players, although I doubt you'd notice. Space, adding a feature that's very new and one that I've not seen other titles use yet. This game is coined the Squadrons of the Quest's ecosystem. It's an arcade-style shooter where you engage in space battles to save the Tatara sector. You unlock more weapons for your ship as you progress to blast more enemies out in space. This game just got an update for itself for the Oculus Quest 2, and it's using something called phase sync, which reduces the latency in tracking without any negative effects on performance. And now it also supports 90Hz for smoother space flying gameplay. Dash World. This is what's being coined the Mario Kart of virtual reality in the Quest ecosystem, where you are to compete in races in fun, wacky environments and pick up weapons that you can use to cause damage to opponents or give yourself a boost for a chance to come first place. It's received a really big update for the Oculus Quest 2 to improve your immersive experience, such as a texture update for better visuals, lighting updates, increased resolution and 90Hz support, which for a racing game, the more frames you can get is going to make a big difference to your experience and the motion sickness that you feel. Red Matter, known as the best looking game on the Oculus Quest and praised for its port to this standalone device. This is a slower paced game, so don't expect crazy action here. It's set in a futuristic Cold War, and you are visiting a facility on another planet, and things start to slowly turn, and you have to unravel the mystery within it. No spoilers though. The game already looked great, but now with these enhancements, it's incredible. They have added anisotropic filtering for the textures, improved resolution for clearer visuals, dynamic foveated rendering so we can have less peripheral distortion, and more detail at a distance. This has been improved so you can see great visuals ahead of you, not just in front of you. Now SuperHot, a virtual reality classic. SuperHot VR is a brilliant game, and if you haven't played it, I think you should. It has a very unique mechanic. Each level you are to kill all of the enemies that are around you. Simple, but they will attack you, so you do have to avoid oncoming fire and punches, and time only moves when you do. So if you're turning your head to look for weapons, you are endangering yourself, so sometimes you need to just pause and think. For Oculus Quest 2, you can enjoy more detailed textures and crisper visuals, and 90Hz support for smoother gameplay, a very fitting game that moves in slow motion to have those higher frame rates. It also has cloud save support, so you won't lose any progress. Iron Lights, a game of dueling where you have to choose a class type which determines your fighting style. Then there are customization options available if you want to make your character your own. You can fight against bots or go online and fight opponents from all over the world. Imagine a futuristic gladiator game. I recently went back to this game to see how this update looked, and wow, it is fantastic. It would have tricked me thinking this was the PC VR version of the game. The resolution has been improved so much. It looks so clear and crisp, reflections are brilliant to give it that futuristic clean feel, particles have been updated, which there are a lot of in this game, there are improved shaders too, and it's a very, very stunning game. He has done a brilliant job. Gravity Lab, a puzzler set in the future upon a space station, where technological advancements are way beyond present day. You have to solve various puzzles with parts that are available to you, and it's usually getting some item, usually a ball, from point A to point B. This is a virtual reality take on the classic plumbing 2D game, if you remember that. The Quest 2 enhancement is bringing higher resolution for clearer visuals and reflections on the metals that give it a much more futuristic look. Before, it was just a matte grey and it felt flat. Now it's shiny and it fits its theme. Real VR Fishing, an adorable game that allows you to go fishing in your own living room in some stunning photorealistic environments, where you and a friend can buddy up, sit on a boat, and catch some fish together. Well, the game has just got a welcomed update to make it even more immersive, such as improved resolution for those photorealistic environments, and even better textures for the fish and the water. Apex Construct. This is a Quest launch title, which is an action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic world run by machines, and there are two AI sentients raging war upon each other. The game has a brilliant bow and arrow mechanic, and definitely one you should play if you stumble across it or if it's on sale. The Quest 2 enhancements include high resolution for crisper visuals and added particle effects for arrow impact, as well as audio improvements and ragdoll effects. I love ragdoll effects. ArizonaSunshine, a game that needed a visual improvement and it got a big one. A game set in a zombie apocalypse in the sunny state of Arizona, and fate calls upon you to save it. The game has a campaign that can be experienced cooperatively and a horde mode to take on waves upon waves of zombies. The Quest 2 enhanced version has new assets to make the world feel more abundant and infested, improved textures on zombies, there are more reflections on the environment as well for different materials, updated shaders, improved physics, and finally, a real-time sniper scope. They are back. Death Horizon Reloaded. On the topic of zombies, a fantastic cooperative experience that also has B-haptic support natively on the Oculus Quest, has got a huge Quest 2 update. This is a story-driven action game where you make your way through a facility that has been infected, killing all in your path. You can do this as a cooperative experience on the campaign as well, or in horde mode with a friend. It can be a very fun party game. The Quest 2 update brings some real nice changes, such as clearer visuals, improved enemies that look slimy now with added reflections on the blood, much better looking weapons that again shine, dynamic muscle flashes also, so when you shoot it the environment lights up in a more realistic way to deepen your immersion on this mobile hardware. Very impressive stuff. Waltz of the Wizard, a classic known to the VR veterans and a studio Alden Dynamics that keeps trying to deliver and improve their game over and over again. It's one of the few games that supports full hand tracking as well. This is a sandbox fantasy game where you can play around and interact with pretty much every item in the environment, completing puzzles to unlock some secrets and conjure up spells in your cauldron. For Quest 2 we have a lot of updates such as real bloom effects, real-time lighting on certain spells and objects, improved resolution for clearer visuals, improved anisotropic filtering, more objects to interact with, more assets to improve the ambience such as spiderwebs, improved particle effects on spells and fire, and of course general performance improvements too. There is a lot in the bag for this one. Trover Saves the Universe, a very strange game where you may see the trailer and you still will not know what to expect. This is created or co-created with Justin Roiland that you may know from Rick and Morty, so there's a ton of strange random humour in this game and recognisable voices and animations. It has a very unique style where you can control a character through the eyes of somebody else. This is a fun, wacky platformer for the Oculus Quest 2 that has improved clearer visuals with its increased resolution. Virtual Desktop, a community favourite, because if you sideload a patch, you can enjoy PC VR gaming wirelessly on your Oculus Quest. And with the new single panel LCD screen on the Quest 2 that supports 90Hz, Virtual Desktop got an update to support it, 90Hz for smoother PC VR gaming as well, and increased bitrate support for better visuals now that we have a higher resolution display. Enjoy the best virtual reality has to offer with your Quest 2 and a gaming PC with Virtual Desktop. Onward, one of the biggest FPS titles on the Quest, has got a much needed improvement for the Oculus Quest 2. The game didn't release being the most stable of games, but the Quest 2 seems to handle it much better, and we did get some visual improvements. In this game you can expect the obvious from an FPS, lots of different loadouts, customizations, team communication, shooting enemies, completing objectives. The genre hasn't changed much. But for the Quest 2 enhancements, they have reduced the texture pop-in, and introduced specular maps for the guns, so the weapons look night and day better. Really nice, really shiny on the Oculus Quest 2. Affected the Manor, a horror game that has some additional game modes if you want to dive in and poop your pants a little, because virtual reality makes this genre rather intense. Some of you may recognise the game from the Gear days, and know it has very simple gameplay and suits new beginners adjusting to virtual reality, and on the Quest 2 it's the best way to play as it has improved spatial audio and visuals, and dynamic shadows, which should add to the creepy ethos. There's been an update also to support 10 different languages, and a skin shader so you can choose your ethnicity, making it more inclusive. The Quest's LCD screen doesn't have the true blacks for the scary moments like the OLED did for the Quest 1, so it's kind of taking away and giving us something else at the same time. Holopoint. I've heard this game is supposed to get a Quest 2 enhancement, although I don't believe it has one yet, but I'll put it on this list so you are aware and can keep an eye out for it if you're interested in the game. Because this is an intense, difficult bow and arrow mechanic kind of game where you have to be truly skilled to reach its higher levels, dodge enemies and fire arrows in this punishing, fast-paced game. Great fun, and you can play it in bursts if you're like me and have minimal time available for fun. Adult life. Job Simulator, a game set in the future where humans no longer work, so a simulation was created so you can see what it was like for us in the modern day with day jobs. Full of humour and a virtual reality classic that I cannot recommend enough. You get to experience life in an office, as a mechanic, as a clerk, and more. This game supports 90Hz, so there is much smoother gameplay available on the Oculus Quest 2, foveated rendering has also been removed, so your peripheral has much clearer visuals, and this makes such a huge difference. The game now looks so crisp and stunning. Vacation Simulator, the sequel to this, which also has the same improvements for the Oculus Quest 2, but instead of it being based in an office, it's based on vacation. So you can visit different destinations, completing mini-games and enjoying the bot's silly humour, in the mountains where it's snowy and you can ski, or on the beach where you can tan. A much more light-hearted experience compared to the depressing realities of work. Phantom Covert Ops, the kayak game that is encouraged to play sitting down. Brilliant! You are to carry out stealthy covert missions as you row down a river in your kayak, trying to remain hidden from the enemies, using machine guns, snipers, pistols, or creating distractions if you do not wish to engage. And I do like to move, you actually have to row like you're in a kayak, not just move an analog stick. This game has a Quest 2 update that improves the lighting for the Oculus Quest 2, and also includes some quality of life updates and performance updates. Very small improvements though. Solaris Off-World Combat, a fast-paced futuristic shooter that has gone for a theme that adds to the virtual reality realism. You play a virtual reality esports athlete that competes in these shootouts, so when you put on your headset and play, you are literally embodying the character. It's recently had an update to fix an issue that may have put you off initially, which was the locked-in left hand, but that's changed now for the Quest. The game also has a great use of colour, I think. It looks great and it's a good shooter which supports crossplay. The Quest 2 enhancements are increased resolution for cleaner, crisper visuals, which looks brilliant. The character shader improvements as well, there's baked lighting updates and some rendering performance improvements, which for a fast-paced shooter is going to be very useful. Space Pirate Trainer, a classic wave shooter loved by the virtual reality community, and again, if you've not played it, try this one. It's a simple wave shooter. You take on waves upon waves of enemies, but the style and how well it's made makes it a treat. It can be tough too. You need a challenge to make it very addictive, and this is. So for the Oculus Quest 2, you can expect particle improvements, so things like lasers and blasters really shine, glow and blast. Also, there's been a color correction update to suit the LCD screen for the Quest 2 to bring out the amazing retro vibe this game has. There are also resolution updates for clearer visuals and lighting improvements. Synth Riders, a rhythm game that if one was going to give Beat Saber a run for its money, it's this. Synth Riders, you hit the markers to the musical beat, but this game gets you dancing and grooving more so with its 80s inspired tracks and visuals. It's like you're living within a simulation. There's tons of game modes to enjoy as well, such as power-ups, multiplayer, 90-degree spin, 360-degree spin, and single player. And on the Oculus Quest 2, you can enjoy this in higher resolution, greater texture quality, better anti-aliasing, improved particle effects, and no foveated rendering. And the icing on top is it supports 90Hz. It's a packed-out enhancement. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, one of the best games to enjoy in virtual reality as a whole, and a miracle that this game is running on the Oculus Quest. Such a wonderful surprise and well-rounded virtual reality title that just felt complete, as you scavenge for resources and kill the undead in very creative ways. It has areas of progression, so it feels like you are getting better, you are unlocking more, and it's also going to get a Trials Horde mode update very soon, which I love. So for the Oculus Quest 2, you can expect more foliage and assets around the environment so it feels fuller and more abundant, higher resolution textures, much faster load times, and improved spatial audio that's going to make the groans of zombies even more immersive. Walkabout Mini Golf, a fun take on the classic pastime mini golf, where you have to putt a ball into the hole whilst navigating fun wacky courses. There are 5 18-course holes and over 70 hidden secrets to find, so there's plenty to play, and you can even create private rooms with 5 friends. The game for the Oculus Quest 2 supports 90Hz for much smoother putting gameplay and improved spatial audio. RacketNX, a simple game that is just fun. It reminds me of a virtual reality version of the retro classic Ball Breaker. You have to hit the ball into certain areas of the dome to eliminate the lights, whilst avoiding certain areas. But some strategy is involved with the ability to magnetize the ball and add spin to your hit. You can also play against people online to add some competition, like a game of squash or of course racquetball. It's in the name. This game now supports 90Hz for much smoother gameplay, a very fun game to play with friends. Racket Fury Table Tennis, a very simple table tennis game that prides itself on its ground-up development of its physics to make sure that your movements and the ball are as realistic as possible. I like the realism of hitting the ball on the Quest because the ping pong ball is so light that when you hit it with the touch controllers, that small rumble just feels so real. You can play table tennis in a variety of different scenarios, multiplayer matches, single player, arcade and simulation modes as well, and this game on the Oculus Quest 2 supports 90Hz. InDeath Unchained, arguably the best bow and arrow title on the system that is loved by the community. It's a medieval fantasy roguelike game where your bow and arrow skills will be tested as you try to save heaven, purgatory and hell from falling into chaos. It also now has a defense mode where you have to protect a portal, like a VR tower defense. It has a bag full of Quest 2 enhancements as well. Players have a much clearer draw distance so you can see further into the distance, see the whole world ahead of you. More assets have been added to make the world feel fuller and more abundant. It has sharper visuals and foveated rendering has also been turned off, and that makes a big difference. More shadows have been added, a snow shader has been updated, there's been an updated texture filter, which makes higher quality textures, and the additional power of the Oculus Quest means the game is running more stable and more reliable in its bigger fights. Gun Club VR, a gun club arcade shooter that is based on over-the-top gun ranges, where you can try out such a huge variety of weapons and different reloading mechanics for each. Each gun you can customize with attachments or skins, but to unlock them you need to progress through the game and earn cash to buy them. There is also a sandbox to create your own little areas to blow stuff up and just practice your shots. And if you've got a Quest 2, you can enjoy much clearer visuals for more detail. It looks stunning. Espire 1, the robot secret operative game that gave me major old school James Bond vibes but for virtual reality, where you control a robot in virtual reality to complete certain objectives, and you can move from one bot to another. A sci-fi stealth action game. But within it you also have mini-games you can enjoy, such as climbing challenges, stealth challenges and more, just to break up the single player campaign. On the Quest 2, this game you can expect improved pixel density for clearer visuals and reduced use of foveated rendering for clearer peripherals. They've updated the character models for a more defined mesh. They have impact particles and bullets now, and unique audio effects for shooting different surfaces such as metal and wood. And the colour has also been optimised for the Quest LCD screen. And they've also improved the reflections of certain surfaces, which is available on Quest 1 and the Quest 2. So that's it from me today, guys. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I hope there were some games there that got you excited and you want to go and try them out for yourself, because there are some absolute brilliant gems on this list. Thank you for watching the first video of 2021 on this channel, and if you're new here, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks to my patrons, you absolute legends. Happy gaming, guys. Good day.